Hey everyone, how's it going? Geek here, and today I have another awesome weekly update video for you guys. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this has been a pretty rough past few weeks for me. With my work schedule going nuts last minute and the Flash game giving me some problems recently, more on that in a bit, I desperately needed to take a step back to get my mind right before continuing to work on this project. Apologies again for not posting last week. I could have maybe tried to force a video out, but in all honesty, it most likely wouldn't have been great content given the stress I was under. Huge thanks to everyone for the community who commented and showed their support though. I appreciate you guys and I couldn't have asked for a better community. In today's video, we'll be breaking down what I'm currently working on for the game, the major issue I've experienced recently with development, and answering newer comments people are leaving on older videos. As usual, you can check out the time codes in the video description if you want to jump around. Before we begin, I just wanted to say that I had reached 10,000 subs earlier, but Barry fractured the timeline again and kind of set me back a couple thousand. Smash that subscribe button if you could to help put the timeline right as best you can. Alright, let's get into it. Starting off, let's talk about the recent issue I ran into that definitely contributed to a lot of the stress I was under last week. I opened Beta 2 in the Unreal Editor and started working on the game like normal. About a minute into working, the engine crashed. I restarted the engine, thought nothing of it, it can happen sometimes, and it crashed again. I was getting worried because every time I booted the game up and started working on it, it would crash. After panicking, as one does in that situation, I eventually realized what the problem was. Kind of. See, I found that the game only crashed when I was working on Central City. If I sat in a blank level I used for menus or worked on coding characters, there wasn't ever an issue. No lag, no crashing, just working like normal. If I opened the Central City level though, crash. So at this point, I identified the problem but needed a solution. A problem's only bad if you don't have a solution, right? So I started digging around my game, thinking I'd left some kind of error in it and that was causing the engine to crash, or maybe I had a conflicting code or something. I searched for hours but couldn't find any sort of problem. The level file seemed to be just corrupted for some reason. I tried restarting the engine a couple times, I tried verifying file integrity, I tried deleting things from the level, but nothing changed. I had my problem, and the more I kept trying to understand it, the more I realized I only had one solution. I had to delete the entire level. Yeah, you heard that right. Central City's in-game level became corrupted and had to be deleted to preserve the integrity of the game. Why did it become corrupted like that? I sure as hell don't know. You better believe after all the work I put into the game though, that pissed me off. I was stressed, angry, and most of all just sad. Not so much that the work was gone for no reason, I can always remake something if necessary, but because I felt like I had let the community down. Honestly, I was heartbroken having to delete Central City and start fresh. The silver lining though is that whatever the problem was presented itself before I shipped the game for you guys. That would have been a nightmare if I had released the game with that ticking time bomb counting down in there somewhere. So now I'm working to rebuild Central City. Again. Just because I want to make things right for the community and to apologize for the lack of content last week, I actually increased the size of the city to give you a lot more space to run around in. Oh, and you better believe quality assurance is a top priority right now. I'm watching like a hawk to make sure that nothing like that happens ever again while I'm developing. So, what am I working on right now for the game? Well, aside from remaking Central City again, I finished ironing out the glitches I've been dealing with in the Speed Force level. I'm also adding in other playable environments for the player to explore to make this open world feel more open. Since we're waiting for my brother to finish his rewrites of Chapter 1 of the story, and since people seem to be on board with delaying the game until Chapter 1 is ready, I figure I have time to really make this game's world feel like something special. I want the player to be able to explore and sightsee, giving myself more places to hide collectibles and Easter eggs, or even give my brother more options for characters to feature in side missions located in these other cities. Either way, I'm excited about the idea and immediately found myself drawn to adding in places like Jump City so I could add in references to Teen Titans or some other characters that'd be cool to feature or at least hint at in-game. Aside from the environment, I'm also working on adding additional characters that will eventually be interactable to various degrees. One of the things my brother was most excited about when we started developing this game was to write his own interpretations of DC characters to use for side missions and story quests. We all know that while the CW Arrowverse has done a great job introducing its roster of characters, mostly, the roster obviously doesn't encompass every DC character out there. My brother was really passionate about introducing some additional characters into the Arrowverse, using this game to explore how he thinks they would most likely be portrayed if they were featured in a CW show. He's mentioned this before briefly in one of his more recent videos about the game before he went on his hiatus, but he's already been working on writing different introductions and story arcs for new characters to feature. So right now, I'm just rigging up and adding as many DC characters as I can for him to work with. If he doesn't want to include them or can't figure out a way to incorporate them, I'll delete the character and move on. So don't expect every random character to remain in the game, just think of them as my pitch to my brother as a potential option, I guess. Whether or not any of them actually become playable too, assuming they stay in the game of course, is up in the air as well. That one rests more on my shoulders though, with me having to create special abilities and movesets for each one. Definitely comment your suggestions though as to who you think should be included as an interactable character, or potentially playable, down below. Moving forward, let's answer some newer comments I'm finding on older videos. I want to make it clear that if I see a comment, I answer it. So if you comment on an older video and I don't notice or reply, I'm sorry. Obviously, I'm not trying to ignore anyone's questions. So today, I want to take a second to look back through my old video comment sections and respond to any more recent comments that people have been leaving there. Corey Denley suggested on my old Central City partial reveal video that speedster characters could ragdoll when they run into objects at full speed. I honestly think that would be hilarious at first, but I feel like people would get extremely annoyed at the mechanic after a short while. In this game, you're bound to run into things given how fast you and some of the enemies will be moving. I feel like the ragdoll mechanic, while hilarious, would be really disruptive to the gameplay, especially if you're doing a chase mission like Stop Reverse Flash or something. Just my 2 cents. Maybe you guys disagree, definitely let me know if you do. Samuel Hunter commented on my Another Update video from 5 months ago that it may not be ideal, but he suggests rebranding the game entirely to be based on a generic speedster character with no pre-existing IP. I get his concern as well as everyone else's who's commented this over the course of development for the Flash game. The reasoning usually ends up being to avoid the copyright claim or to be able to sell the game, or both. I have to say though, I have no intention of selling this game at any point to profit from it and don't plan on using this game to hurt the distribution of actual licensed content from any mainstream developer. There is no legal standing to take the game down, and I don't have any intention of leveraging a fan community for profit. If and when I eventually release an original IP through normal distribution channels like Steam, I will do my best to profit off of those games. David Quarko, sorry if I butchered that, commented on the more recent Explaining Reverse Flashpoint video, asking if other speedsters are slowed down when you use the speed boost ability. The short answer is yes. Using the speed boost sets the game's time dilation to 20% normal speed, but keeps yours at normal. If you're ever fighting another speedster character, say in local multiplayer against your friend, they'll be slowed too unless they also use the speed boost ability. Them using the ability would reset the game's time dilation to 20%, again causing no visible change to it, but would boost their own time dilation back to normal. So it's possible to slow other speedsters, but it's also possible for them to just straight up ignore it using their own abilities. And finally, Jeff Flowers commented on the Star Labs Work in Progress video, explaining his idea for a way to incorporate Slender Flash into the game through the use of puzzles for a secret character unlock. First of all, I love how Slender Flash is basically a fan favorite for the community now. The community is literally inventing ways for me to incorporate him into the game. I love it. As for the unlock idea, I like the idea of finding different pieces of the puzzle to unlock him as a playable character. What if though, the puzzle unlocks a hidden boss fight instead, and you have to beat him in order to unlock him? Could have like a horror theme, given his less than normal appearance. And it would be a really funny nod to the character that was never intended to be made. Honestly, the community needs some fan art of him. But seriously, I love the idea. Consider this the official announcement that you, the fans, have made it clear what you wanted, and Slender Flash is a confirmed character for the game. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, definitely be sure to hit the like button and comment down below. Definitely let me know your thoughts on which characters you want to see me eventually throw into the game. I know we only have the 2 so far, but I'm letting you know now if my brother can write it, I can implement it. So any other characters that you think would be fun to interact with, let me know in the comments or over on Discord. Speaking of, be sure to join us over on Discord so you can talk with other members of the community and take part in some mod-driven community events. We have an excellent mod team and they love organizing things for the viewing community to get involved with, so you don't want to miss out. Also, if you can, be sure to sub over on Patreon where you'll get a lot of cool perks. You can even become an NPC in the Flash game. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one.